BEOWULF, Age of Heroes.
Hello, John Hodgson here again with our intro to Beowulf, Age of Heroes podcast with myself and Jacob Rogers. And this week we are talking about ships. And in Beowulf, Age of Heroes for 5th edition, every hero has a ship to get them around the Whale Road. What have we got on sale at the moment that I am contractually obliged to flog you? So we have got Horror at Harrogate is out right now. That is our latest PDF adventure. We'll be doing one of these every single month for the foreseeable future. We have also got the Beowulf Age of Heroes core book is out in PDF. It is printing right now at the time of recording. We have got the Hermit Sanctuary, which is the place to start if you'd like to know more, if you like what you're hearing about here, if you stumbled across the podcast, go and grab the free PDF and accessories pack on DriveThruRPG for the Hermit Sanctuary, and that will give you a whole full-length free adventure for one player, one GM in the world of Beowulf Age of Heroes. I think I could say Beowulf Age of Heroes a few more times in this introduction, so I might reshoot it.
BEOWULF, Age of Heroes.
Well, here we go. This might be its own show. It might be a bit at the end of a show. We don't know, recording this. How exciting. Keeping ourselves on our toes. Mysterious business. So the next section, mysterious / not necessarily heavily scripted. The next section in the Beowulf Age of Heroes book, what a fine book it is ships. What's it all about, Jacob? I'll throw the informational stuff to you to sort out.
All right. Excellent. Yes. So a hero has a ship. That is just part of being a hero. So when you start your heroic career, you're going to get a ship, and you get to pick between a long-sided or a wide-beamed ship. Long-sided ships are a bit faster, but shorter range. Wide-beamed ships a bit slower, but can travel more days on the Whale Road before being resupplied or whatnot. And generally speaking, again, we primarily approach this as a storytelling game. Most of the time, the ships are hugging the coast. They're putting in every evening. There's an opportunity to maybe trade with a local farmer or go visit a nearby mead hall. So we don't particularly dig into that too much, except when it's interesting to the scenario. So there might be a scenario where your ability to make speed is important because maybe you're chasing a sea monster. And there might be a scenario where your ability to go for several days without needing new supplies might be important. So that information's in there, but it's not always going to appear in any particular scenario unless it's relevant. Ships also come with crew. They are the sailors that make the ship go. They are not followers. They simply are in the background, taking care of the ship, either making it go or perhaps just staying with the ship. They can kind of guard the ship, but they're not going to get active into combat. They're just going to be there, basically as background folk.
It worked out really well, I think. The kind of, there's almost three things we're talking about there. I love the long-sided versus wide-beamed because it's just so simple. One's faster, one can carry more, and I can really see that coming up in games where you might have slightly the wrong ship for a job, or you might have the right ship for a particular job at sea, and it's a very straightforward. You'll know straight away. It's not, you're not trying to negotiate around loads of numbers to kind of simulate your ship. Again, we keep saying storytelling, but it's that kind of stuff, isn't it? And the crew, as not followers, they're just background sailors, I think works really well. They're a great device for the GM, I think, to the crew muttering darkly, or the crew getting a bit upset by things, and the crew running away. I think these are all fine elements for a scenario.
Excellent. And they can also, if you treat them really well, they can actually kind of step up every once in a while. Like if you would normally, during the voyage, which we'll get into later, if you normally would lose a follower, you can sometimes lose a crew member if you've been treating them really well. So they are interesting in that way, but again, we don't get into super detail with them. Cool. And we have burdens and gifts for ships. Again, burdens and gifts you see appear over and over again in Beowulf. And of course, these tags are things that affect the ship. Burdens are things that generally happen as a result of challenges or other factors. So the ship can be damaged or weakened. If you don't do a good job of keeping after your crew, if you have too few crew members, you can have a missing crew apply or whatnot. And then you have gifts that you can spend money on improving your ship um, by adding additional benches or a musician or extra stores or by building a new, larger ship and what have you to improve those numbers. Again, we don't get into very much detail, but as you have additional room, you can carry additional followers, additional crew members, additional passengers. As you have extra stores, you can go further. If you have rigging, you can increase your speed, that sort of thing.
They're nice little. They take a lot of cues. I realise now, the burdens and gifts. They take a lot of cues from conditions, actually, as little packets of rules that just come up when they come up. The name of them makes it really obvious when they come up, and you don't need to worry about it until such time that you do, and it's just very simply laid out. I really like it. Yeah, I think they're really good. It's a nice bit of technology.
Cool. All right, excellent. And then we have some notes on ship combat. Again, during this age, it is mostly about getting your ship next to the other guy's ship and fighting person to person. It is not, we're not doing attacks at long range or anything like that. It's basically hand to hand combat on a moving platform. So. We do have some rules for if you're fighting a monster as opposed to fighting another ship, then things can change a little bit. And again, the monster still probably wants the delicious crew members and followers, and it's probably going to attack them directly. But if for some reason it's attacking the ship, then there are some rules on that. And of course, if you lose a ship, well, yes, you can get a new ship for the asking. But it's going to be a basic ship. So if you spent all this time and money improving your ship, improving your crew, and what have you, well, if you lose them, then they're gone. And you get just a basic ship back. And of course, if that happens too many times, then the people you're getting the ship from are going to start wondering what's going on. And there's going to be some role-playing opportunities there.
I always like to think that you can, as a hero in the Age of Heroes, you can always petition a local ruler to gift you a ship. And exactly how that plays out is entirely up to you at your table. I can imagine getting yourself invited to the local meat hall and then dropping some pretty heavy hints is going to get you a ship. But these things don't come without strings attached. Gifts are given in return for service, and that is a really great thing throughout the Age of Heroes setting, that people are generous. They want to be seen to be generous, and sort of the real sign of being wealthy is that you can give it away, and you are a ring giver and a gift giver, and that gives you a sort of moral authority. But a lot of the people doing this, I kind of think, will want their due in return, and that's building scenarios right there. It's, you'll owe somebody. Yep. It's interesting stuff. Yeah, ship's pretty cool. I think, again, I like to sum these things up, and I always say I'm very happy with it. Of course I am. I think it's really nice, a nice level of abstraction, because this is not sort of Nelson or Master and Commander, where the finer points of sailoring become pivotal on sea battles and turning your ship fast enough and all that kind of stuff. If we do a sort of, let's do a Nelson one where you're like Nelson with a followers. That would be amazing. I don't really have any interest in that at all, but it'd be good, wouldn't it? Maybe I will have, or maybe I'll read some books. It'd be called Nelson. When I was about 5, I was madly excited by the thought of Nelson. He only had one arm. That was really cool. Good grief. Try to keep these short. But I think we just got it at a good level where you've got enough information about what your ship is like and what it can do that you can, you can just drive that adventure forward without getting too bogged down. But it, there are different ships, and you building onto your ship, spending your downtime activity improving your ship and getting invested in your ship and naming it and naming some of your crew members and so on, and eventually promoting them to followers and so on. I think all of that is really good stuff and highly thematic. Gosh, pat myself on the back a bit more, will I? It was hard work.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah,
good.
That's like a little mini segment. I wonder if this will be its own episode. Super mini ship section. Cool.
Yeah. There's only a few pages. Let's see. We can squeeze in that followers can take the sailor gift, and they can serve as crew, so you can kind of double up with that, which can be efficient in terms of like getting everybody paid and what have you. But of course, followers also follow you into the cave where the monster is. So you might start with enough people to crew the ship, but you might not end up with enough people. So that could be an interesting situation to get
Something
yourself into.
It's just occurred to me that I enjoy out of the Hermit Sanctuary, where we tried a lot of stuff out in the creation of that scenario. It's, you can spend a lot of time on sort of theory of how your rules are going to work, but it's always really useful to apply it to a scenario, because then you see the thing actually, what it does at different points in a scenario. And I really like the bit where it's up to the hero whether they leave a follower to lead the crew in looking after the ship, which puts you a sort of a person down in your little war band of followers, but your ship's going to be well looked after by a sort of competent warrior type or a wise person, depends on the follower you leave. And in that scenario, if the sailors of the crew are led by a follower, they will fight off the monster if it has a go at the ship. If they're not led by a follower, then they always run away, because they're not stupid and they're not heroes. They see the monster coming, they all just scatter into the hills and come back the next day, kind of thing, when the monster's gone away. But unfortunately, the monster will have its way with the ship while they're gone. And I like that sort of stuff. There's a lot of decision points, which I think are quite important and, good stuff. Excellent. That's your ship stuff. Look, that's like 12 minutes we've been talking about ships. That's an episode. Very good. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Nice one. Yeah.
Short and sweet. All right, cool.
Beowulf, Age of Heroes.
That's the end of this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed a little delve into the world of ships in Beowulf Age of Heroes for 5th edition. I'm supposed to say all those things. What is it? Like and follow us and smash the bell, and so you get notified next time we drop our hot slice of podcast action on you. And I gather I'm supposed to say it in such a tone that engenders your undying engagement in our endeavours. Thank you for your compliance. We will be back. Is it going to be next week? What we're tending to do is when we release a scenario for Beowulf, we skip a week's podcast just to give us time to get everything done, to be honest. But I think we'll be back with a podcast next week rather than a scenario, so you can look forward to that. And yep, do check us out at www.handiwork.games. Forgot the web link there. I am on fire today. Wow, amazing. There's no problems with authenticity at this brand. Let me tell you, what you see is what you get. Thank you. Bye. Love you. Bye.
Beowulf, Age of Heroes.